and there are lots of stakes of other countries like China, for instance, in this, and Russia would also be alarmed. So, they cannot outrightly attack us. What must they do? Weaken us economically, first of all, so that we have no will to resist, and that they have objective very nearly they have achieved this, and then make an offer to us that okay, we want to buy your nuclear program from you for $100 billion. They have been talking about $100 billion. Wall Street journals and all the Zionist lobbies have been talking about it. Why not buy it outright? They need money, and we can buy it from them, but on conditionalities that they will not Islamize the country, no mention of Sharia will be made, and number two, that they will not possess the nuclear weapons, and thirdly, that they will not stay close to China. But anyway, if that does not happen, then the alternative is what McChrystal is saying. He's talked about AF part. I mean, AF-Pak is one battlefield for them, but the AF part they have talked about. 66-page report they have submitted, and he has admitted that they are losing the war. But the Pak portion of it, the other part of the bigger part of the battlefield, which is Pakistan, they have not mentioned. They have kept it secret. What is it that they have in mind? Obviously, they have in mind their our nuclear program. If our nuclear assets are stolen from us or they are picked up, then we will be, first of all, despondency, disillusionment and disappointment will set in, which is very bad for the nation. Secondly, we will be left with no capability. It will destroy Pakistan army, it will destroy our relationship, it will instantly put India as a predominant power in the subcontinent. So, this is their aim. What should they do? Do they have enough intelligence? I think not. They feel that they have plenty of intelligence. They have set up a big network, and there are lots of people who are prepared to act as their agents for dollars. But they are not convinced that Pakistan army does not have what they describe as rogue elements who would protect the nuclear arsenal, who will not let it fall into the American hand or any other hand. So, they are not too sure. What they are thinking is they have rehearsed these, they have carried out in Nevada desert and elsewhere. Along with the Israelis, they have carried out rehearsals, how they are going to attack Pakistan nuclear facilities, pick up the assembled devices and take them away. And unfortunately, Pakistan, I fear, has somewhere, Pervez Musharraf, given them an assurance that the delivery system and the weapon system for a certain period of time will not come together. So, they are monitoring that these two do not marry at one point in time. So, they will have a time bracket in which to act. What are they going to pick up? Obviously, they will pick up the nuclear triggers, and nuclear triggers can be put in a couple of C-130 loads taken away from us. But that is a pipe dream. They are thinking like Americans are cowboys. They only think in that fashion that others will not resist. But I can assure you, and I want to assure my Muslim brothers and friends all over and those who are interested in security of Pakistan, that this will not happen. We will not allow this to happen. Even if our government is sold out to them, I hope not though entirely, but even if, hypothetically speaking, if it is sold out to them, the people of Pakistan will resist. People like me, we will sacrifice everything, myself, my life, my children's life, whatever we have, we are prepared to do that, and we must do that, because it is so important not only for the safety of Pakistan, for our existence, for our freedom, but for the safety of the Muslim world as a whole. Because once Pakistan loses its nuclear capability, I can assure you Muslim world will be lying prostrate in front of them, in front of Israel, and then there will be no way that we will be able to save them.
You have talked about lots of informations regarding the situations in Pakistan in general, and Americans and Indians. But let me take you to the Afghan side, where the Americans are carrying, an offensive in Afghanistan. There are also tense situations between on the tribal area between Pakistan and Afghanistan. The army are doing a good job, as you mentioned, on the tribal area and Swat and different things. how do you evaluate the security and the strategic situations on the borders and inside Afghanistan? What is your predictions on what's coming up in Afghanistan there?
Well, as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I think they have accepted rather belatedly, because I have been saying that for past 2.5 years, that Americans have lost the war technically as a professional soldier. It's my professional judgment. Although I had predicted immediately after 2001 that Americans will lose this war, but it was only about 2.5 years ago that I openly started saying that they have lost it. They have lost it already. Now, acceptance is something else. For instance, Russians knew in 1986 that they had lost the war in Afghanistan, but they were ever so reluctant to announce that they had lost. It took them nearly 2 years to admit that they had lost the war, till Gorbachev in February of 1998, he said that we are pulling out of Afghanistan, irrespective whether you sign Geneva Accord or don't sign Geneva Accord, because we have lost. And that was a very bold admittance of a fact which was already there on the ground. So Americans have lost the war. Now they only have to admit that they have lost the war. The surge that Obama was foolish enough to launch and approve in Afghanistan, with the 21,000 additional soldiers, that resulted in 2 operations along with the NATO forces in Helmand area, southern Afghanistan. One was Operation Khanjar and the other was Operation Snake White. Both these operations miserably failed, and before that in 2003 Operation Anaconda was launched by the Americans in Shaikot area in Paktika, and in that operation they failed miserably. The myth of American invincibility came crumbling down. I mean, it tumbled immediately, and Taliban ranks started swelling thereafter. Taliban strength grew from that aggression which was taken place, because they realized, what are Americans? They are just simply chocolate cream soldiers. They are air conditioned soldiers, you know, all around them. They are air conditioned and they can't fight the Afghans. Afghans are very, very hardened. Their terrain, their will to resist and to continue. They never tire of fighting. And little did they realize, because they had probably not read the history of Afghanistan. And the Little Hart, a very famous military philosopher, has written that the first lesson of history is that you do not learn from history. So they like that, Americans have not learned from history. But you see, these chocolate cream soldiers they can't fight them, because they don't have a cause. This is not a cause. Greed, hunger, avarice, and trying to appropriate somebody else's resources. On their side, there is nothing but greed. There is nothing but materialism, in order to make their lives even richer than what they are. But on the other side, there is a cause, and life doesn't matter in this. Life is to be consumed for a cause. So how can you fight them? So once again, if a lesson was to be required, historical lesson, once again history has proved, another time in history, and very thumpingly it has proved, that the material fails against the moral. That the firepower, no matter how technologically advanced it might be, it cannot face the human will. Human will, and particularly that has a cause to go by, like the Islamic fighters, Mujahideen, have a cause, and that's a very great cause. It's a just cause, it's a moral cause, it's an honest cause, so they cannot fight. So they have lost this war. But now, only thing left is for them the choice that they have to make. Do they want to go out gracefully with their honor, dignity somewhat intact, or they want to have their noses rubbed in the hard, rocky soil of Afghanistan and go disgracefully like they left Vietnam? But this time it is not going to be like Vietnam. Vietnam was a small theater. Now they are against the world of Islam. You like it or not, the people of the Muslim world consider it a crusade. And so if they leave Afghanistan, they will have to leave a lot of it. A lot of things they will have to give up, and they will have to withdraw into America, go back into fortress America, like they have been in the past. But even then they will not rest, because the economic crisis which has gripped them, that economic crisis would make America split apart psychologically, socially, even politically at some stage in time. So the cost is very high for them. But the fact that they are already admitting that 80% of the territory of Afghanistan is in the control of what they describe as Taliban. I won't say it Taliban, they are Mujahideen. They are not all under the command of Taliban. They are individuals who are fighting, groups who are fighting on their own. And what a fascinating conflict this is, that against the mightiest power that was ever recorded by history, that is America, Europe and all the other establishments, including the Muslim countries like Pakistan, our army is on their side. And who is fighting them? Nameless, faceless Mujahideen, who have no address. If you were to write a letter to them, you can't find the address. How would this letter reach Mullah Omar? No, it can't. Anyway, the point is that this is a very unequal contest, and in this unequal contest, the victory belongs to what we describe as non-state actors, the individuals who are motivated to resist because an aggression, unjust aggression has been committed. 9/11 was a pretext. It was a ploy. They just wanted to use this as an excuse to invade the world and capture the world and its resources, particularly the Muslim lands, and to suppress all kind of resistance to them, and to block the emergence of a new socio-economic order in shape of an Islamic system. So this was a bid they made, but they have made a mistake, and inshallah you will see very soon the results will come. It's not very far. I think another 1 year and you will see everything crystal clear emerging out of this.
Thank you very much for this interview, and I think we should conclude.